But I want to play service dog facts or fiction. It's a true or false. I'm going to give you a statement and you're going to tell me if it's fact or if it's fiction. Are you ready to play?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. And if there's any muddy waters here, like it's like fact and fiction, by all means, you're welcome to elaborate.
Awesome.
All right, here we go. All service dogs are trained to perform the same tasks.
Fiction.
Fiction. I guess it depends on the person's disability, right?
Absolutely. The tasks are geared towards each individual's disability.
That makes so much sense. Service dogs can be trained to turn on lights.
Fact.
That is so cool. How do you train a dog to turn on a light?
So we have this adorable little box that's teeny tiny, like the puppies. And when they're super little, it's like the light switch is really down low on the floor. And we teach them to turn on when they're tiny, like 8 weeks old. And it's the cutest.
Oh my God, I need a video of that, please. Okay, only retriever type dogs can be used as service dogs.
Fiction.
But you do raise retriever type dogs, right?
We do. We kind of call it the big three. Most service dog organizations use Labradors, Golden Retrievers, Standard Poodles, or mixes of those three breeds.
Got it. All right. Service dogs are classified as medical equipment by the ADA.
Fact.
That is right, people. You cannot decline a service dog from entering your establishment because it's not a pet. It's medical equipment, right? So
Exactly.
Just like you wouldn't say, leave your pacemaker at the door, you can't tell them to leave their service dog at the door. That I know.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Service dogs can cost upwards of $30,000.
That is fact. And that's actually the cost of raising a service dog. They're enormously expensive to raise. It's not profit cost.
Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. So people would probably be like, oh, those people are wrecking in the money, but they're really not.
No, we are not.
She says, no, we are not. Service dogs are readily available to anyone that needs one and has $30K to drop on one.
That's fiction. The wait lists are very long.
Which is very sad because if somebody has an accident and becomes disabled, they might need something sooner than 2 years from now.
Yeah. 2 to 5 years is the national average in the United States for the wait.
That's so crazy. Is that because there's just not enough people breeding and raising them?
It has some to do with production. It also has to do with how long it takes to raise each service dog. It's just very labor intensive.
Got it. Okay. Service dogs have to be allowed anywhere their handler goes.
That's usually fact. There are a couple little caveats, but generally fact.
Where can they not go?
Like a sterile field environment. So like a surgical operating room.
Got it.
They can't go somewhere where it would be a danger to the dog or the handler, like a submarine. So if you go on a cruise and you want to do the submarine tour things that they do on cruises, since you get down and up in a ladder and your dog can't climb a ladder in theory, then they can't go there. Some things like really giant Ferris wheels at Disneyland, there's a couple of rides that they can't go on for safety reasons.
You're telling me that people actually thought about taking their dog on Space Mountain?
McCowan's favorite ride at Disney World is Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
He's obsessed with it. He loves it. Like you can't walk past it without him begging to go into it.
Is it the dog with the keys that attracts him so much?
It's the donkey. Like if that he loves the donkey. He loves it.
Love that. That is the best fact I've ever heard on this show. Like ever. In the history of Covered in Pet Hair, that is the most amusing bit of trivia I've ever heard. That's awesome. There is one certifying entity for service dogs.
False. That is definitely fiction.
Is there any one umbrella certifying agency?
Not in the United States, there is not.
There is in some other countries like UK or maybe?
So some other countries are more regulated with governing bodies than we are in the United States, as is true in many areas. But in the United States, there is not a governing body at all.
Gosh, we're going to talk about that in the second part of the show because I think that leads to some pretty big problems. I have two more for you. All service dogs must wear a harness or signage to indicate that they are service dogs.
Fiction. They do not have to be readily identified as service dogs. Which we could probably also discuss later in the show.
Yes, absolutely. And then anyone can train a service dog.
That's actually fact, with practicality caveats, but factually, yes, that is true.
Yes. So it doesn't, because there's no certifying entity, it's not like you have to be certified by this entity in order to train this dog. I could train a service dog, but I'm not a dog trainer. So like me as just a regular person could train a service dog. But do you think that the general public would have the skills to train a service dog?
So I think it's possible. There are certainly some really beautifully owner-trained service dogs in existence and working in the United States. My friend Jess has one. She's a lovely, lovely dog. There are several examples, but it's quite a challenge. It's taxing both physically, which is sometimes in disagreement with someone's disability, and it's also very taxing emotionally.
Interesting. Why is that?
Well, it takes a really unique and special kind of dog to be a service dog. So if you get a puppy as an owner to become your service dog, that dog may not be best suited for that kind of work. And now you're already really attached to your puppy. And you have to make a decision that maybe this isn't what this dog wants to do with their life. And that can be really challenging.
I love that. I love that you're saying that it's their choice, because I've recently just put out an episode about holistic dog training, and it was about making a joint decision to train, right? And if the dog is not a willing
episode.
Oh, good, wonderful, thank you. And if the dog's not a willing participant, chances are the training's not going to go that well, is it?
Exactly. It's they're servants to their cause, and if they don't find joy in the work, it's really inhumane to the dog, and it's also just not a fair question.